And that was your News Mash. Staying with presentational issues, I was quite interested in the Treaty Resource Centre analysis of news programs, and what they discovered was that Maori news and current affairs shows on both your channels talk to people for longer. They let people talk longer. In an age where everything's crushed into a soundbite, people get to talk on your programs. Do you think that's a point of difference and a useful one?
It's a purposeful point of difference. When we were developing our current affairs show, Native Affairs, what we knew we wanted to do was to listen more, talk less, and let people tell their stories, because we're about telling stories. So it's very much a unique point of difference for us at Māori Television. We actively try to let people talk more.
Now, you're working with maybe half a dozen key advertisers and sponsors. Code has a sponsor who we're not going to name here. How important is that you build the commercial side of the business, because you are publicly funded, and in theory it only takes a change of policy and you're gone?
Yes, that is our reality.
Is it important to be commercial, to have a commercial dimension?
No, we are not required to return any sort of revenue or to be commercial, and that's really important to us, because it just provides us with so much more freedom to produce programs that we want to produce and that we think people want to see, and programs that we feel really proud of. But we have a commercial function with advertising at 4 minutes per hour, because we want to manage the organisation responsibly, and because we take the view that if there's some money to be made that we can put back into development of the business, then why wouldn't we do that?
None of you played the commercial game with Mai. You topped the ratings. Now, Ngāti Whānau don't own it anymore. No. It's owned by MediaWorks and, in Rotorua, which I was quite disappointed by, where you used to top the ratings, it's now the breeze.
Yeah,
is that an example of the perils of...
Well, the commercial reality is... the perils are audience doesn't necessarily mean revenue. As, a lot of, particularly with new media, is finding out, you might have a really large audience, but you've still got to be able to sell it. And selling things and generating audience are two different things. The difficulty is that media now is part of a mix. And the gathering of these media brands is about making it part of the mix. And to stand alone and to be able to be singular requires so much more stamina now, because the ability to sell to the people who want to advertise has changed. The way that people sell has changed, and the offering needs to be so particular. And yet my success was to be part of this mass movement towards a genre type, and we sort of sneak under the radar. Once that becomes the place to be, you end up with the flavour. You end up with direct competition. You end up with everybody else thinking it's a great thing.
What affected you was that everyone copied what you did.
Yeah, but they've been trying to copy that for some time. The point hit us, I think 3 generations, we had the beat. We had so many different versions trying to copy us. The difficulty came, to be absolutely frank, when someone puts one in the market at no cost. When you can have the same type of station, some of the same personalities which they paid for, but you will not pay a spot rate for it. That's where we're in trouble, to be honest.
Last word to you, Paulroy. As I said, you're in the hot seat. It's an election year.
Very comfortable.
You have a strategy. What can we expect to see in the coming year from Māori programming at TVNZ? Because you have had your critics.
Well, we're continuing to basically bolster the Māori content on TVNZ screens. We have multi-platforms that all our programs screen on, not only just 1 or 2. We have 6 and 7, and on demand, as you know, is hugely, there's huge uptake there. What you can expect is Māori programs. We've been around for 25 years, and 3 of our core programs have been around about that time. And we're going to be around another 25 years producing great programs.
Best of luck for what we see at the 50s.
Thank you.
And that's all we have time for this week. Thank you to Paulroy Maxwell, Sonia Haggie and Manu Taylor. Kia ora anō ki koutou katoa, and thank you for watching. We'll be back with Media 7 at the same time next week. Until then, goodbye. Noho ora mai.